This is Jeremy Sports Network coming to you live. Hey, you guys, this is Fight Day. And what a hell of a fight we just witnessed between Anthony Joshua versus Waldimir Klitschko, man. Hands down. I honestly don't even know where to start. I mean, you got Anthony Joshua knocking out Klitschko in the 11th round, TKO stoppage, which I felt as though it was a premature stoppage because we don't know what could have happened in the 12th round, but he did drop Klitschko twice in the 11th round. I do have the CompuBox numbers that we will go over, but I'm going to go over this whole fight round by round. And hands down, first, I really want to give a big shout out to Team Klitschko, Waldimir Klitschko, Vitaly Klitschko, his trainer. Man, what a stand-up guy. You can't help but have respect for Waldimir Klitschko. If you don't have respect for what you just witnessed, fight fans, if you don't have respect for what you just witnessed, then you're not a real true fan of the sport. You're not at all, because Anthony Joshua and Klitschko really laid it out there between the two, and it was a phenomenal event. It was a phenomenal fight. And like I said, we're going to go over the numbers. We're going to go over the CompuBox numbers. We're going to go over everything that took place throughout the round. And starting with the first, second, and third round, you have to give those rounds to Joshua. Joshua was more active in those first three rounds. And then you had Klitschko, who was pretty much trying to figure him out within those first three rounds. But then when you hit into the fourth round, Klitschko became more active in that fourth round. He started to let his hands go more in the fourth round. And you was thinking, well, okay, now we have ourselves a fight, because in the first three rounds, it was all Joshua. Now we head into the fourth round. You can see Klitschko warmed up, and he was able to start letting his hands go, and he was able to be more active in the fourth round. Now we moved into the fifth round. Joshua came out very strong, where he gave up. I ain't gonna say he gave up, but he gave everything he had in the first 5 rounds. He did. He gave up everything he had in in round 5, because he came out very strong in round 5 with a knockdown round, because he knocked Klitschko down in round 5. But then he came right back and had Klitschko came right back and took that round to a 10-9 round, more so than it was a 10-8 round. So now you have Klitschko being knocked down in the 5th. Moving into the 6th round, Klitschko was coming back so strong at the end of the 5th round that he was able to drop Joshua in the 6th round. So he dropped Joshua in the 6th round, which still stayed a 10-8 round, because Joshua was really affected by the knockdown from Klitschko in the 6th round, because he was gassed in the fifth round after he gave everything he had from the knockdown round. So he knocked Joshua down in the 6th round, and if I go back to when Klitschko was knocked down in round 5, like I said, he was able to battle back to make it a 10-9 round. Now, when you move to the 6th round, when Klitschko knocked down Joshua, Joshua was not able to recover as good as Klitschko did, which kept that round at 10-8 round. Then we moved to round 7, where you gave that round to Klitschko. I gave that round 7 to Klitschko. Klitschko was more active. It seemed like Joshua was starting to catch his breath for like the next 2 rounds. He took 2 rounds. He took 2 more rounds off to catch his breath, round 7 and 8, which he lost those rounds. You give those rounds to Klitschko. And then you move to round 9, where the fight is pretty much even at that point. Well, no, Klitschko was up by 1 on the cards. And after round 9, the fight was pretty much even, because round 9 was given to Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua started to come on strong in rounds 9 and 10. He was very strong in rounds 9 and 10. In the 9th round, he did good body work. And then in the 10th round, the best punch of that round was the left hook. He landed that left hook so well in the 10th round that it stunned Klitschko a little bit. So once they moved into the 11th round, Joshua turned it up again. He found a will to turn it up again, and he was able to knock down Klitschko twice in the 11th round, to where that uppercut landed so flush on Klitschko. I'm surprised that Klitschko was able to stand after the pressure that he took from that uppercut. But then he was able to knock him down again. And to me, I think it was a premature stoppage because if you go back and look at the replay of those punches that Joshua was throwing on Klitschko while Klitschko was in the corner, he really didn't land anything at all except for one punch. And the referee stepped in and stopped the fight. Yeah, you have to protect the fighters, but at the same time, who knows what could have happened? Like I stated earlier, who knows what could have happened in the early as the 12th round went on, if they would have made it to the 12th round, because I think Klitschko would have been able to survive until the 12th round. Do I think he would have been able to win the fight? Absolutely not, because he was knocked down twice within that round. And then you move into Joshua being able to TKO him. So now Anthony Joshua is experienced now. He was able to travel in deep waters where a lot of people, me myself, didn't even know what Joshua was able to possess if he was able to go into the latter rounds. And we saw him get gassed after the 5th round to where I felt as though the fight was over because Klitschko was landing his flush right hand straight down the pipe to where, and he was starting to touch Joshua to the point where you're like, oh my God, Joshua, like you're going to have to cover up, grab him, do whatever it is you got to do to survive and bring in that willpower. And he was able to do that. So you have to hands down literally give Anthony Joshua all the credit in the world to be able to battle back from the knockdown from Klitschko. Because when you seen Klitschko have his knockdown, Joshua was gassed. Klitschko didn't seem as gassed when he was knocked down by Joshua. It was just that Joshua brought on a whole lot of pressure in the 5th round where he was able to cut Klitschko, and still at the same time, Klitschko, I would say Klitschko was in better shape than what Anthony Joshua was, although Anthony Joshua was more of the bigger fighter in this fight because Joshua looked like he was just humongous. But it had to carry over. We all knew that Anthony Joshua, if he didn't take care of business in the 6th round, a lot of people felt as though Anthony Joshua was going to lose to Klitschko because Klitschko could take you into deep waters where it seemed like he was doing that in the first 3 to 4 rounds to where he had Klitschko kind of slowing down. I mean, not Klitschko, but Anthony Joshua was pretty much kind of slowing down a little bit to where you felt as though Klitschko was going to be able to dominate in the latter rounds. We knew he was going to take Joshua into deep waters, but we didn't know what Joshua possessed once he got into deep waters. Now, Joshua was able to go into deep waters, and we seen what this man was able to do to Klitschko. And Klitschko had a hell of a performance. A hell of a performance. I tipped my hat off to both of the fighters. I didn't even think this fight would have been as good as it was. I thought it was going to be a early knockout fight for Anthony Joshua. That's really what I thought it was. And Anthony Joshua started to show me that when he knocked down Klitschko in the 5th round. But man, you just have to tip your head off to these fighters. I'm gonna get to the CompuBox numbers. We're gonna go ahead and go to the CompuBox numbers, so I can give you guys the stats on what actually took place. You had Anthony Joshua throwing 107 out of 355 punches. You had Klitschko throwing 94 out of 256, landing at a 36%, and Anthony Joshua was landing at 30%. Then you move to the jabs. Earlier in the fight, Anthony Joshua was throwing more jabs than Klitschko was, but Klitschko was able to win the jab battle with landing 50 jabs out of 119, landing at a 42% ratio versus Anthony Joshua, who just threw only 38 out of 169 jabs. So Anthony Joshua threw more jabs, but nothing was really connecting for him, and he landed at 22%. Power punches, this is where Anthony Joshua was much more effective, where he threw more and he landed more power punches than Klitschko did. Anthony Joshua threw 69 out of 100, and he landed 69 out of 186, while Waldimir Klitschko only landed 44 out of 137. Klitschko landed at a 32%, while Joshua landed at a 37% power punch ratio. So Anthony Joshua was landing more of the power punches, which it seemed to have more effect towards the end of the round. So now, hands down, what do you say from this point forward for Anthony Joshua? Anthony Joshua called out Tyson Fury. Deontay Wilder's there at the fight. He gets no love. Deontay Wilder's there at the fight and gets no love at all. Let me tell you why he gets no love at all, because who has he faced? Who has Deontay Wilder faced in the top 10, top 5 heavyweights in the division? None at all whatsoever, besides Bermane Stiverne, who had the title before Deontay Wilder when Deontay Wilder beat him for the WBC. That is it. Deontay Wilder has to prove himself with either Joseph Parker first before he could fight the unified champion in Anthony Joshua, who was pretty much calling out Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury is going to get himself right. But to me, if you ask me, Anthony Joshua has a lot more to do if he thinks he's going to beat Tyson Fury, because Tyson Fury, if he gets back in perfect shape to where he was when he fought Klitschko, Tyson Fury wins this fight with Anthony Joshua easy, because Tyson Fury can move around the ring. Tyson Fury can box. That's what a lot of people don't understand and know about Tyson Fury. If you know boxing, you know Tyson Fury is going to bring it. So, like I said, Deontay Wilder gets no love at all. He didn't even acknowledge Deontay Wilder. And to me, that's what's crazy, because you're thinking that Deontay Wilder was going to be the one who maybe come up in the ring and maybe, say whatever it is he have to say, or whatever the case may be. But no, not at all. Anthony Joshua don't even acknowledge that, man. He calls out Tyson Fury of all people. So, like I said, hands down, man, I tip my hat off to Klitschko, the team. These guys put on a phenomenal performance, man. I didn't believe that this fight was going to be as good, like I said earlier, than it was. I thought it was going to be an easy, quick knockout by Klitschko, but it wasn't. I mean, by Joshua, but it wasn't. Klitschko battled, Joshua battled, and these guys put on a magnificent performance. The performance was just as good as the intros. I had posted in the feed, I was talking to one of my coworkers, and I told him, I said, man, this fight looks like it's a doggone Rocky fight, like it's Rocky Balboa or something. When Rocky faced Apollo Creed in the exhibition when they fought for the first time, and all of the energy in the building that was going on, and all of the fans that was there, and everything. It just seemed like this fight was hyped up, and the intros was phenomenal. Man, the promoters of this fight put on, Eddie Herman, you guys put on a phenomenal event for fighters that's in the UK. They put on a phenomenal event. It was an amazing fight. You can't help but tip your hat off to every single thing that took place in this fight, period. But like I said, Anthony Joshua calling out Tyson Fury. It seems like he's going to fight Fury. He wants that fight with Fury. Fury is in training right now. He has been posting videos of him training. So there could be a possibility of that fight happening. But Deontay Wilder, on the other hand, maybe they go ahead and set up a fight with Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. We don't know as of yet. We're going to have Jeremy Sports Network will have post-fight interviews uploaded already, so you can just tune into the YouTube page. We will have post-fight interviews uploaded, and you'll be able to see what Deontay Wilder has to say. You'll be able to see not only Deontay Wilder, but other heavyweights in the division who are there in the UK at that fight. We'll see if Deontay Wilder starts calling out Anthony Joshua and make whatever he wants to be known. I mean, we know I do have video posted of whatever when Deontay Wilder entered into the UK when he was at Wembley, and he called out, Tony Bellew or whatever the case may be. But what you calling out Tony for when you have to really worry about fighters like Joseph Parker? I don't even think Deontay Wilder beats Klitschko. I believe if Klitschko right now was to fight Deontay Wilder, this Klitschko would have easily took out Deontay Wilder, because he would have outboxed him. He would have been way more efficient and smarter than Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder doesn't even – we saw what Jared Washington was doing to Deontay Wilder before Deontay Wilder unleashed his right hand. And that's the only thing that Deontay Wilder have is the right hand. That's it. He don't have any kind of skills. He don't possess any kind of skills in order to get the job done. We all know that. And if he was to fight Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, or Klitschko right now, Deontay Wilder would lose. He would lose. My son over here playing. He was watching the fight as well. But he would lose. And I really don't even agree with the stoppage, I think it was kind of early, because I think Klitschko's could probably have shown more will going into that 12th round. We don't know what could have happened in that 12th round. I don't think that Joshua, like I said, go back and look at the replay. If we do, I will probably do a full fight review and replay of this fight to show everybody who did miss the fight. If you don't get an opportunity to see the fight, I will replay the fight for you. But if you go back and look at the replay before the stoppage, it looked like Anthony Joshua really wasn't landing anything flush before the referee stepped in and stopped. It was only one punch that landed, and that was it. It was the same kind of premature stoppage that Deontay Wilder had over Jared Washington. I could say that. It was premature just like that. But Anthony Joshua is the world champion. Now he's the WBA and the IBF unified champion, the only unified champion in the division right now. So you have Joseph Parker to worry about, and also Deontay Wilder, which I believe Anthony Joshua could beat both of those guys, which they're going to cancel each other out, because I think right now Deontay Wilder is going to have to fight Joseph Parker because I don't think Anthony Joshua is pretty much caring about Deontay Wilder right now. Maybe that fight happens at the beginning. Whoever wins between Parker and Deontay Wilder, that fight may take place at the beginning of the year, of next year. The winner of those two out of Deontay Wilder, Joseph Parker, they may get my son, he's over here playing his butt off. They may get the winner of Anthony Joshua. They may get to face Anthony Joshua. I think Anthony Joshua right now don't have to prove anything to anybody. I mean, you just went. He proved a lot of people wrong, because a lot of people felt as though if he was to go into deep waters, would he survive? Seriously. And to me, it seemed like he started to get stronger, because I had him winning round 9, 10, 11, and he could have darn sure probably won 12. He got stronger as the fight went on, but he was gassed. And after that 5th round, when he gave everything he had in the beginning of that round when he knocked down Klitschko. He gave everything he had in that knockdown with Klitschko, and he was gassed. Seriously. Like, he was gasping for air. I mean, Klitschko hit him with a couple of shots. He was so gassed that Klitschko was able to come back and make that a 10-9 round instead of a 10-8 round. That's how gassed Anthony Joshua was. You could see him when he got back to his corner after that particular round. Do you know what happened? The man just sat there, closed his eyes. He was breathing. He was gasping for air. There's no way he could have recovered in just 1 minute in between those rounds. So he had to take off round 7 and 8. He took those rounds off. Even though he got knocked down, I believe him being so gassed was the reason why he got knocked down in the 6th round. But round 7 and 8, round 5, 6, 7, and 8, where he was gassed, he had to take 4 rounds in order to get himself back together to even the fight at round 9, and then take over from round 10 and 11 with the knockdown and the finish. That's what you have. So it was an exciting event to see right here. This is pretty much made my day, seeing these fighters. This made my day. I've never seen a heavyweight fight as good as this, unless we go back to when we was having like the Evander Holyfields versus Muhammad Ali, Lennox Lewis fights, those type of guys, the legends who were in the building. That's when we had big time heavyweight fights back then that was good like that. Right now, this is probably the closest thing we've had to what we used to have in the heavyweight division back in the days. And you have to appreciate that if you're a fight fans. You really do. You have to appreciate that. And me, I definitely appreciate it, because I was so ready to see this fight. I thought it was going to, but then when I started watching it, I'm like, oh my God, they're putting on a fabulous show. I mean, I had the live video footage of AJ in his locker room, before the fight. So I'm watching AJ in his locker room. I'm watching what's going on in the arena and everything like that. And AJ seemed cool, calm, and collected. But once he started walking to the ring, it's almost as if it hit him. Like, oh, the fight is here. It's time, And not only with AJ being able to battled back and showed that he had heart, man, who else do you know could take a knockdown the way that he took that knockdown from Klitschko and battle all the way back to win the fight? If Deontay Wilder gets dropped like that, do you think Deontay Wilder can bounce back and come back and win a fight like that? Hell no. He don't even possess half the skills of what Klitschko have or what Anthony Joshua have. And I hate the fact that I have to be honest, because I do have friends with the boxing voice who are very close with the Deontay Wilder camp, and I definitely could be down there at the Deontay Wilder camp once his next fight is open to be able to get interviews with Deontay Wilder and see. But I want to ask Wilder, hey, man, like, seriously, are you going to change your game up? Because if you're thinking that you're going to unify by beating Joshua with the skills that you have right now, it ain't going to happen, bro. It's not going to happen at all. Deontay Wilder really got a lot of work to do if he think he's going to unify anything in the heavyweight division. You got to prove yourself. You ain't fought no top heavyweight yet. You didn't fight David Haye, who Tony Bellew just moved up to heavyweight and fought a better heavyweight than all of the fighters that Deontay Wilder done fought in fighting David Haye. If anybody disagree with me, please post your comments, say whatever it is you have to say, and let me know who Deontay Wilder fought that was better than David Haye on his resume. And the only reason why I'm saying that is because Tony Bellew is right. You haven't fought nobody. Tony Bellew is not even, he just moved up to heavyweight, right? And he already fought a heavyweight name that is way better than Deontay Wilder's whole resume. And Deontay Wilder's the WBC champion in the heavyweight division. That means they made you, Deontay Wilder. They made you. And now you have to prove yourself with fighting fighters to be able to unify. Absolutely, you don't have no choice. You done beat Bermane Stiverne already. We don't want to see that. We don't want to see that. We want to see you with some top quality competition to see if Deontay Wilder is really Deontay Wilder, who he claims to be. That's what we really want to see. If anybody knows the heavyweight division right now, a lot of people are not even really caring about anything Deontay Wilder says until he steps in the ring with a top quality opponent. And right now, with Anthony Joshua being pretty much the king in the heavyweight division, I'm gonna give him that. He's the only unified champion in the division, even though he don't have the WBC, but he's the king of the division right now. Come on, who else can you say is better in the heavyweight division than Anthony Joshua right now after the performance you just seen from Anthony Joshua? Who can you say? Seriously, I'm sitting here looking at the comments and I'm just waiting for a good name to pop up for somebody to say. I don't want to hear no Dominique Brazil. I don't want to hear no Eric Molina. I don't want to hear no Charles Martin. I don't want to hear no doggone Deontay Wilder. I don't want to hear Huey Fury. I don't want to hear Joseph Parker. I don't want to hear any of those names. I need to know who in the heavyweight division right now is better than Anthony Joshua after what we just saw from Anthony Joshua. And he's a man of character. He's humble. Man, that's a world champion who I want to see with all the belts. And he's growing. He's growing. That's what a lot of people don't understand. He's growing. This fight was so much more than what people are going to take away from it. The experience that he just got from going in the deep waters, 11 rounds with Klitschko. Even though Klitschko been laid off for 2 years, Klitschko's really looked good. Like, he looked way better than he did when he fought Tyson Fury. So we knew when he fought Tyson Fury, he only threw like 50 punches that whole fight with Tyson Fury. If you don't believe me, look up the numbers. Look up the numbers. He only threw about 50 punches. And I got the CompuBox numbers right here of how many punches that he threw when he fought Anthony Joshua. He threw twice as many more punches when he fought Anthony Joshua than what he threw when he fought Tyson Fury. Way more punches. And we can't sit here and say that Klitschko done lost it at all, because he looked really dominant in this fight. Klitschko looked dominant at some points in this fight. He looked like the Klitschko of old. And at 41 years old, I don't think he needs to retire, because right now I really think he could go and fight somebody like a Deontay Wilder and go win that WBC and come back and have a rematch with Anthony Joshua. That's what I want to happen. But Deontay Wilder too scared to step up to some competition like that. He's scared, and that's just being real. But like I said, he only threw 50 punches in the Tyson Fury fight, and this fight right here, he threw 256, and he landed 94 punches out of 256. But he only threw 50 against Klitschko. That's 40 less punches. I mean, against Fury, that's 40 less punches. I just want to say, well, what Anthony Joshua threw? Well, Anthony Joshua threw 355 punches, and he landed 107. Klitschko had a better landing percentage than he did with his jabs. His jabs was much more effective, but we all know Klitschko have one of the best jabs in the game. Seriously, hands down. If anybody knows boxing, everybody knows that Klitschko have a very dominant jab. But, man, like I said, hands down, you have no choice but to tip your hat off to Klitschko, Team Klitschko. They was phenomenal throughout this whole thing, throughout the whole build-up. It didn't have to be no trash talking. That's what I love about UK fighters. Over here in America, they have to trash talk in order to sell the fight. But over there in the UK, they don't have to do all of that trash talking. These fighters had so much respect for each other that we knew come fight night, when they got in the ring, they were going to battle. And they did exactly that. They battled. And then they showed very much more respect and class for each other after the fight. So that's why I'm saying you can't help but appreciate and tip your hat off to Klitschko, to Joshua, for putting on a fabulous, fabulous fight. Seriously. I haven't seen anything in the heavyweight division as good as this right here. This is probably one of the best fights in the heavyweight division that I've seen in a long, long time. And I'm talking about going back to where probably Lennox was fighting, him in his prime and some of the wars and battles that he went through when he was king of the heavyweight division. Seriously, we haven't had that. And now we got that now in the heavyweight division. It's going to be more hype in the heavyweight division. People are going to tune in more in the heavyweight division after this phenomenal performance by these two fighters. And then not only do you move from that, but then you move into what's going to be taking place with other fights that's going to be in the UK. Other fights that's going to be there. You got Vontae, who's getting ready to fight on May 20th. Then you have Errol Spence, who's getting ready to fight against Kell Brook in Sheffield. We have right now some of the best fights coming out of the UK. That's why Floyd Mayweather took his fighter over there, because it's a payday. That's why Errol Spence went over there to fight Kell Brook to bring the title back to the States, because we know Kell Brook wasn't gonna come over here, and they probably go into a big event where it's more so like the Barclays or somewhere like that. He wasn't gonna go do that. No, he's gonna go to Sheffield, make that money, that hometown money, and Errol Spence is gonna go there, and Errol Spence is gonna have to get the job done by knocking off Kell Brook's head like he stated he was gonna do. He's gonna chop down the tree, and I believe that in Errol Spence. I believe Errol Spence is primed and ready. He's been primed and ready, and his fight is going to be a hell of a fight. Vontae Davis, I think Lim Wash is nowhere on his level as far as talent, skill, and power. I believe Vontae is going to easily win that fight, and hopefully we get a fight with Vontae and Tevin Foreman. Because I like Tevin Foreman. A lot of people don't want to give Tevin Foreman credit, but for him to start boxing so late in the game, everything he got, like he stated, when they confronted each other, he got it from the muscle, man. That man has worked hard to get to where he is right now, and he deserves an opportunity. And I hope Vontae grants him that opportunity come time for him to fight. Matter of fact, I believe Tevin Foreman fights today. Let me check. Is today? Tevin Foreman should be fighting. Yes, April the 29th. Tevin Foreman fights today. If Tevin Foreman wins his fight today, and Vontae take care of business on May 20th, we're going to have a fight with Vontae Davis versus Tevin Foreman real soon. And that'll probably be in Baltimore. Vontae probably hold that fight at home in Baltimore, definitely. And and put together, a nice main event card held by the Money Team and Money Team Promotions, Mayweather Promotions. That'll be a hell of a fight if we're able to get Vontae and Tevin Foreman, because a lot of people want to see that fight. A lot of people want to see those two go at it. And I believe that'll be a great fight right there, even though Tevin Foreman has 4 losses. But you have to understand, Tevin Foreman lost early in his career when he first started boxing as a pro. He didn't really have no amateur background. That's what a lot of people don't understand. He didn't have no amateur background. So what you're going to see in that fight is going to be a hell of a fight. We're going to really see Vontae being tested in that fight, because Tevin Foreman's no slouch at all, period. Now, I like Vontae, don't get me wrong, but like I said, I'm the type of boxing fan who, for one, I'm going to tell the truth. I'm not biased or any of that. I'm not going to sit here and say, well, this fighter should win just because I like this particular fighter. No, I'm going to give you the keys to their victory. And I'm going to give you the keys to the other fighters' victory on what they have to do in order to win the fight. And at the same time, I'm going to tell you what's real and what I think is going to happen. And then when I choose who is ever going to win, that's going to be based upon my choice and my decision. But I'm not going to allow that to mess up any of the analytics and what's real in boxing. Like I said, I felt as though AJ, in this particular fight with Anthony Joshua versus Klitschko, I felt as though AJ was going to win the fight via knockout in the 6th round. But he was able to knock down Klitschko in the 5th round, which he kind of went after him a little bit too early, if you ask me. But he was able to knock him down in the 5th round. But then he turned around and gassed himself out and ended up barely winning the knockdown round. And then you lose round 6 and 7 and 8 by getting doggone knocked down in the 6th round, because you're still trying to recover from all the explosive punches that you threw in doggone round 5. So he's going to learn from that. He's going to study the tape, and he's going to learn when to pick and choose his spots in order to fight. And he has to be smarter as well. I believe this right here has done nothing but help Anthony Joshua get to the point to where now when he's in another fight with another good fighter, hey, he can play with him now. Like, do I want to take this fighter to the 8th round? Do I want to take this fighter to the 9th, 10th round to let go? He's gaining experience. And that's what a lot of people don't understand, is the fact that he's gaining experience through each and every fight that he has. An experienced fight for him, because you could tell in the first 4 rounds, we already knew what was going to happen. Okay, Klitschko looks like he's going to take this guy in the deep waters, because at first Klitschko kept that distance away. He kept the distance away. He was touching him with the left hand, feinting with the left hand, and boom, he was coming with the right. But he wasn't giving himself up as easy for Anthony Joshua to be able to get inside and land anything as far as his uppercuts, left hooks. He didn't trade. Klitschko did a smart thing by not trading hooks with Anthony Joshua at all, especially early in the fight. If Anthony Joshua would work to win those early rounds, he knew he could probably take Anthony Joshua out in the later rounds. That's what Klitschko's game plan was. That's what a lot of people don't understand. That's what his game plan was. And with that being and with that being where his game plan was, you pretty much knew what was going to happen in the fight. So it ended up being, perhaps, like I said, one of the fights of the year, the fight of the year right now, because I believe that right there just superseded and went over maybe this fight right here, where 5.8 million tuned in a sold-out Barclays Center where I was there at that fight. I believe this fight right here just kind of went to a whole nother level, because we was able to get the knockdowns. We was able to see the knockdowns in that fight. Like, when Joshua knocked down Klitschko, I'm thinking like, oh shit, this fight is over with. Seriously, I'm like, oh, it's over with. And even Anthony Joshua thought it was over with. He cut Klitschko and everything, and you're thinking like, yeah, this fight, it got to be over with. It got to be over with. There is nothing that Klitschko can do to come back from this. He's been off for 2 years. He hasn't did anything for 2 years, and so you feel like, okay, this is all that Klitschko is going to bring to the table. But then you seen Joshua so gassed after everything it was he did. This is my son right here. He want to speak to everybody. I'm gonna bring him over here. He wants to speak.
Hey.
He tuned in to the fight. Did you like Anthony Joshua? Did he put on a great performance? You think so?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But like I said, Anthony Joshua did a phenomenal job, man. It was awesome to see that guy battle back after being knocked down in the 6th round and score 2 knockdowns on Klitschko in the 11th round. For him to score 2 knockdowns on Klitschko in the 11th round, he's the king of the division right now in the heavyweight division. Like I said, there's a lot of work that we have to see from Deontay Wilder. Even though you have the WBC belt, Deontay Wilder, you're still nothing in the division right now. You get no respect. That's why your name was not called when the post-fight interview with Anthony Joshua. He didn't even speak about Deontay Wilder. Didn't even speak about him. That's why I said Deontay gets no respect at all in the division. You got the green belt in the division, and the unified champion in that division don't even call your name out. Because you easy pickings to everybody. Everybody in the division feel as though Deontay Wilder is easy pickings and he has to prove himself first. It's sad that I really gotta call him out like that because I'm doggone freaking an hour and 30 minutes away from Deontay Wilder. An hour and 30 minutes away. If Ness called me right now and say, Jeremy, I need you to go down to Birmingham to be with Deontay Wilder, I'm gonna go. And I'm gonna ask him those questions like, hey, Ness might get a little upset with me because I'm gonna ask because we're really close to that camp. I'm gonna ask him what's the real deal questions. Like, hey, Deontay Wilder, like, who are you going, like, depending on who he fights? Because we don't know who he's going to fight next. Because nothing has been in paper. There's been no negotiations with anybody as of yet. So we really don't know anything with Deontay Wilder. But like I said, I'm going to have post-fight interviews with the fighters who are there at the fight uploaded on my network. So tune in to Jeremy Sports Network. We will have that for you guys. But like I said, Anthony Joshua, Waldimir Klitschko, one hell of a fight. Hands down, fight of the year candidate right here with this fight alone. It did a whole lot better than what Andre Berto and Sean Porter did. But the 90,000 that was in Wembley Stadium, man, and you got to witness this, you have to appreciate what it is you saw in that heavyweight division. You have to appreciate that. You have to, big time, because hardcore fans, this is what we've been wanting all year long. All year we've been getting great fights. Hardcore fans. Not none of the casual fans who just, sometimes they watch it, and yeah, they know a couple of fighters, but hardcore fans who really been wanting to see some really good boxing, we've been getting it this year. And that's credit to Al Heyman. That's credit to Al Heyman, Eddie Hearn, Floyd Mayweather, Lou DiBella, these guys who putting together these great cards, these phenomenal cards, even the undercards, man. Freddie Roach got a fighter. He got a fighter, man. Like this, the undercards was even good as well. Like a lot of people didn't get to watch the undercards because Showtime only showed Klitschko versus Joshua. But if you were able to watch the undercard fights, you would have seen a hell of an undercard as well, leading up to the event. But like I said, we're gonna get to work, get those post-fight interviews uploaded for you guys, so you will be able to tune in and get to see what Deontay Wilder has to say, get to see what other heavyweights in the division have to say, and what a lot of people got to say about Anthony Joshua. That's what a lot of people are looking forward to. What is next for Anthony Joshua? If it's not Tyson Fury, who is next? Would it be Deontay Wilder for the WBC? Because if that's the case, even though Deontay Wilder has the WBC, do you know who's going to be the A side in that fight? Anthony Joshua. Deontay Wilder is going to have to come all the way to the UK to defend that WBC because we got Anthony Joshua is the unified champion. And he can bring more money to the table than what Deontay Wilder can bring because of the fan base that he has over there in the UK. He has a huge fan base over there in the UK. So what he can do, being the A side, and Deontay Wilder having to come all the way over to Europe to fight Anthony Joshua, things just don't seem to add well for Deontay Wilder at all. Period. He has a lot of work cut out for him. He does. I don't even mind if Anthony Joshua was like, I want to give Klitschko another opportunity, which we all know is not going to happen. But say for instance, well, let's say this. Say for instance, like I stated earlier, if Klitschko was to go and land a fight, because he's not done. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say Klitschko's done. He's not done. He came in weighing about 240 pounds. He looked phenomenal. He was still able to move around. He still showed that he had defense, even though he was caught with a lot of shots, power shots. But he still had put on a good enough performance to where it was so much better than a Tyson Fury fight that you're like, damn, Tyson Fury? Are you serious? He should have beat Tyson Fury. If he was this Klitschko that he was when he fought Joshua, that Klitschko would have beat Tyson Fury that night. Hands down. That Klitschko would have beat Tyson Fury that night. But like I said, it remains to be seen on what's going to happen and what's going to take place. But this is Jeremy Sports Network. I'm finna get to work and get those interviews uploaded for you guys. Please, please, please subscribe. If you guys aren't any subscribers, please subscribe to the page. You will get all the post fight interviews uploaded on this account, so you'll be able to see what Deontay Wilder has to say and what other heavyweights have to say in the division. I will have that content ready for you guys. This is Jeremy Sports Network. I'm signing out. Peace.
That was awesome, Daddy.
Yes, sir. It was, son. You want to tell everybody bye? Tell everybody bye.
Bye.
Tell them to tune in to Jeremy Sports Network.
Tune in to Jeremy Sports Network.
There you go. Hey, good job, buddy. All right, you guys. I'm out.